African Union Communications Early Warning and Intelligence, commonly known as AUC3I, is an intelligence and security organization responsible for providing signals intelligence and information assurance to AU citizens, AU leadership, and AU armed forces. I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. I am responsible for leading infantry soldiers at all levels of command and combined armed forces during missions on the ground. This is today's briefing. On the progress of the special military operation on the 23rd of July, 2024. The armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to conduct a special military operation. Units of the North Group of troops defeated the manpower and equipment of the 71st Jaeger Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the 107th, 127th Terrestrial Defense Brigades, and the 13th National Guard Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Staritsa, Kruglo, Volchansk, and Lipsy in the Kharkov region. 3 counterattacks by assault groups of the 42nd Mechanized, 57th Motorized Infantry, and 92nd Air Assault Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces were repelled. Enemy losses amounted to up to 170 military personnel, 5 vehicles, a Polish-made 155mm Krab self-propelled artillery mount, 2 US-made 155mm M777 howitzers, a 152mm Mstabi howitzer, 3 152mm D-20 guns, 122mm D-30 howitzer, and field ammunition depot. Units of the West Group of troops improved the situation along the front line and also defeated the formations of the 43rd, 63rd, 116th Mechanized, 4th Tank, 3rd Assault Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and the 12th Special Forces Brigade Azov in the areas of the settlements Sinkovka, Zagoroykivka, Novoegorovka of the Kharkov region, Torskoy of the Donetsk People's Republic, and Serebryansky Forestry. During the day, they repelled 2 counterattacks by units of the 66th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces and the 112th Military Defense Brigade. The enemy lost up to 490 military personnel, a tank, a US-made M113 armored personnel carrier, 8 vehicles, a US-made 155mm M198 howitzer, a 152mm Mstabi howitzer, a 152mm D-20 gun, a 122mm D-30 howitzer, US-made M119 105mm howitzers, UK-made L119, and 2 field ammunition depots. Units of the Southern Group of troops liberated the settlement of Ivano-Derievka of the Donetsk People's Republic and occupied more advantageous positions. They defeated the manpower and equipment of the 23rd, 24th, 30th, 53rd, 93rd Mechanized, 5th Assault, 10th Mountain Assault, 46th, 81st Airmobile Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the 114th and 117th Terrestrial Defense Brigades in the areas of the settlements of Kalinina, Verkhnekamenskoye, Antonovka, Krasnogorovka, Konstantinovka, Zaliznianskoye, and Chesavyar of the Donetsk People's Republic. The losses of the Ukrainian Armed Forces amounted to up to 750 military personnel, a Cossack armored combat vehicle, and 6 vehicles. During the counter-battery fight, the following were hit: a combat vehicle of the Grad multiple launch rocket system for 152mm D-20 guns, a 155mm M198 howitzer made in the US, a 122mm howitzer D-30, 2 105mm howitzers M119 made in the US. In addition, 2 Inklev electronic warfare stations, 2 US-made and /TPQ-50 counter-battery radar stations, and 6 field ammunition depots of the Ukrainian Armed Forces were destroyed. Units of the Center Group of troops improved the tactical situation, defeated the formations of the 31st, 41st, 47th Mechanized, 25th Airborne Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, and the 109th Terrestrial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Toretsk, Dmitrov, Grodovka, Rozovka, Kemishevka, and Novosolovka of the 1st Donetsk People's Republic. During the day, 6 counterattacks by assault groups of the 32nd, 53rd, 151st Mechanized, 68th Jaeger, and 95th Air Assault Brigades of the Ukrainian Armed Forces were repelled. The enemy lost over 405 military personnel, 3 tanks, including the M101 Abrams, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 2 pickup trucks, a 155mm Bogdan self-propelled artillery mount, a 152mm Mstabby howitzer, a 122mm self-propelled artillery installation Gvozdika, 122mm howitzer D-30, 100mm anti-tank gun Rapier, and 3 field ammunition depots. Units of the Vostok grouping of troops defeated the personnel and equipment of the 72nd Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the 37th Marine Brigade, the 129th Terrorist Defense Brigade, and the 17th National Guard Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Vodyanoy, Vermevka, Prechistovka, Makarovka, and Razdolno, Donetsk People's Republic. The enemy lost up to 115 troops, 7 vehicles, a British-made FH-70 155mm towed howitzer, a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, and a 152mm D-20 gun. Units of the Dnieper group of troops defeated the formations of the 65th Mechanized, 141st Infantry, 128th Mountain Assault Brigades of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and the 126th Terrestrial Defense Brigade in the areas of the settlements of Novodanilovka, Novoandriivka, Zaporizhzhia region, and Tokarevka, Kherson region. The Ukrainian Armed Forces losses amounted to up to 110 military personnel, 8 vehicles, a US-made 155mm M777 howitzer, a US-made 105mm M119 howitzer, a Bukovel AD electronic warfare station, and a field ammunition depot. Operational tactical aviation, unmanned aerial vehicles, missile forces, and artillery of groupings of troops of the armed forces of the Russian Federation within 24 hours destroyed. A mobile radar station for detecting and tracking low-altitude targets ST-68 and a UAV production workshop, and also defeated accumulations of manpower and military equipment of the armed forces of Ukraine in 138 districts. Air defense systems shot down 3 French-made Hammer-guided bombs, 15 US-made HIMARS multiple launch rocket systems, and 151 unmanned aerial vehicles, including 82 over the territory of the Russian Federation. In total, since the beginning of the special military operation, the following have been destroyed: 630 aircraft, 278 helicopters, 28,269 unmanned aerial vehicles, 554 anti-aircraft missile systems, 16,638 tanks and other armored combat vehicles, 1,382 combat vehicles of multiple launch rocket systems, 12,294 field artillery and mortars, 23,977 units of special military vehicles. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it useful and informative. If you have any questions, please leave them below and we'll get back to you as soon as possible.